welcome to Gotham Sound's NAB coverage 2026. We are starting, as always, with Lectrosonics and Karl. Karl, happy NAB.
Happy NAB, Nick. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Thanks for kicking it off with us. This is a super cool arm that you have here. Lectro's got a lot of new stuff, so let's dive in.
Yeah, we have a lot of new stuff, absolutely. And, starting with the L1 Lav, this is part of the larger development that is the Sonaura technology. And this is the first product that will actually come out with that new MEMS capsule. It's quite exciting for a number of reasons, and one of them is, of course, waterproofness, even to the point where you can hear it working underwater.
I'm going to make a quick live adjustment because I put this too close to your mouth and we're getting too many plosives.
Oh,
so that's my bad. Okay,
go.
anyway, sorry.
Better now?
So, yeah, better now.
Okay, great.
Great. All right, perfect. Yeah, now we can do that. Yep, okay. So, say that again because I was too distracted.
Sure thing. So, not only is it watertight, but you can hear it working underwater. And that's kind of what we're showing here. You know, we've got the headphones. You can listen to it going into the water and out of the water. We're doing this all day yesterday, and we're already starting out today. It's been going for about an hour, and it still works when underwater.
Yeah, so an actual underwater recording microphone as well as a waterproof regular microphone, so in or out of the water.
It'd already be cool if we stopped there, and I think some folks are looking at it saying, well, there's been watertight mics before. What's new about this one? Well, really, one of the biggest pieces of news is that the self-noise of this thing is almost unheard of for a lav mic at 11 dB A-weighted equivalent self-noise. That's more than 10 dB lower than any other lav mic that we're aware of, and 15 to 20 dB lower than most. So even though it is an incredibly small, 5mm capsule, it's got that studio grade self noise. It's better than some pencil condenser mics, as an example. So that's number two. Number three is the high SPL is 135 dB. So not only is it very quiet, but it'll handle very loud sources as well. And it would mean nothing if it didn't sound good. But as a mic guy, I'm a little bit jaded, being in the industry for 30 years as a mic person. When I started listening to this thing, I got quite excited because it sounds fantastic as well. So a lot to look at here. One bit of interesting technology, though, is that coupled with the DSSM digital transmitter, you've actually got two profiles in the transmitter in the menu now, and that's a firmware update that allows you to use this mic either in high sensitivity mode or low sensitivity mode, and there's a 20 dB difference. And it's not a pad. It's actually a circuit that switches inside the transmitter and a matching circuit in the unit that sets up a different gain structure. So you've got high sense and low sense in a single lav when used with the DSSM.
Very cool.
So it's got a lot going on in there.
All right, let me do this one more time. I'm
Sure
sorry.
thing.
Yeah, but it is very cool. What's the what's the price and availability?
It's not on the market yet. It's coming very soon. The pricing will range from about 500 list price to 700 list price, depending on which connector you're ordering and the kit that it's going to come with.
I see.
In fact, let me go grab. Where did it go? Yes.
So the other thing I just want to point out while Karl is getting that is that this is a molded waterproof connector already. Yeah, so this is a molded waterproof connector, and this is molded at Lectrosonics, right?
Yes, it's in our facility.
Because that was one of the things, with the DSSM being waterproof, right? That the Lav then needed to be waterproof, so that
exactly. Now we've got a mating unit. And I didn't mention this as well, but there's going to be two different acoustic caps. One of them that gives you just a slight bump in the high, mid-range, and then one that gives you a sharper bump between 10 and 14 kilohertz. So that'll come standard with it. And we could do a little unboxing here. This is what the packaging will look like. And if you order the full kit version, it's going to come with a little carry case, and then the lav mic itself, plus the clip and a windscreen, and the two different acoustic caps, and these ID rings that you can apply onto the connector to differentiate your different units for different talent or that sort of thing. So this will be the full range, and then we'll have a so-called naked version that would be a little less expensive that would only have the microphone and the two acoustic caps.
Got it. Okay. Cool. All right, so we'll get into this a little bit later, but this is really neat. Is there going to be a TA5 version available as well?
There is. We actually have samples here.
Okay.
Now, in that case, the TA5 version there will be two different versions, one high sensitivity and one low sensitivity, which is similar to other labs that people are familiar with.
Right.
And there's about a 20 dB difference between them. So that's pretty standard, and that's just because the 5-pin input relies on the connector wiring, you know, for those different types of sensitivities.
Okay.
So.
And so can the wiring in, so let's say if somebody bought a high sensitivity one, could they have it rewired to be low sensitivity?
Potentially.
Okay.
Yeah.
Neat.
And we think there should be a pigtails version as well. So if someone wants to wire their own, and you know, with the wiring charts that we would provide to them.
Great. All right. Perfect. And so tell me, so that's the L1.
L1.
And so this is
the S1.
Okay.
So S1 is our short shotgun microphone, and it is an RF bias capsule, which means that it's going to be really impervious to humidity, so you don't have to worry about the sound changing or getting any crackling. So that's one interesting bit. This also has a very low self-noise of 10 dB A-weighted, so it's right in there with some of the lowest pencil mics available. It's made of aircraft aluminum, and it's very, very light. I think the spec is 78 grams for this, so very, very, very light. And it's just a little bit longer than some, and it's just designed to be a good quality shotgun to match sound profile with the lav mic.
Also waterproof, or is that not?
It's not waterproof.
Okay,
no,
great.
no. But again, that RF bias condenser element means that it's going to hold up to environmental conditions that standard DC bias condensers won't do well with.
And then the thing that sticks out to me, I mean, the color is beautiful, right? It's definitely electro blue.
It's the electro blue. Yeah.
It's the same as all the belt clips.
Yep.
But the this part, you know, the air holes, the speed holes, are at different angles than what I'm used to seeing.
Yeah, you know, most of this, as long as it's transparent to the sound waves at the frequencies we care about, is cosmetic. But the real meat is inside in the interference tube, which was developed new for this microphone. And the feature there is that, you know, no matter which angle that you're coming at the microphone, the polar pattern is symmetrical. So, you know, there's mics out there where the pattern is different on the sides versus the top and bottom. And this one's actually symmetrical. So kind of doesn't matter which angle you're pointing it out. It's going to be very uniform in its polar pattern.
Got it. So Kyle Sherling wants to know, what's the sweet range for the microphone?
What's the
sweet range? I assume he means frequency range, or
frequency range. So, you know, it's about 3 dB down at about 50 hertz, and like most directional mics, it's going to have the proximity effect. So if you're closer than that, that low frequency is going to come up. That's at 1 meter. And then it's all the way up to 20 kilohertz, and it's got kind of a broad bump in the upper mids, like a lot of microphones do, again, to match the profile of the lav mic. So.
Oh, so that perfect. So they've been designed with each other in mind.
They have. Yep.
Nice. And then have you started working with any like third-party manufacturers to, this is from PR Katzman, just for accessories, you know, lav concealers and things like that for the S1.
We have not, but this thing is very much the same size as other labs that you're familiar with, so it could be used with a whole host of accessories that are already out there. It's a 5.4 millimeter outer diameter, and then it's got the molded neck down part for strain relief, so they can use almost anything that's already out there. And this is true for the shotgun mic as well. This is a standard 19 millimeters, so there's a whole host of accessories, blimps, mounts, shock mounts, all that kind of stuff that this would go right into.
Got it. And to clarify Kyle's question, he wanted to know about the sweet spot in terms of the distance from talent. So you said it's about a meter, or?
You know, that's a matter of taste, but I think it's going to be very similar to other short shotguns like this. So, you know, a meter, maybe a little less, is probably about right. So it's going to be handy for interiors, you know, news coverage, most of the types of stuff where, you know, you might want a longer shotgun if you're going to be farther away than that. But this is standard for a short shotgun.
Got it. Okay. And when is that going to be available, and what's the approximate price?
Second half of the year.
Okay.
We have a list price of $1639, and I'm guessing somewhere third quarter, fourth quarter. We're not sure yet. It's just reaching those final stages of being finished.
Got it.
Yeah.
So I think the thing that I really want to ask is, you know, this is new for Lectro, right?
It is.
I mean, the only lav I really know of that Lectro has ever had is the M150-2.
Right.
Right, and probably the M150 before that. So Tell me about kind of the, what went into this and the thought process and, your new partnership with Rode,
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Well, becoming part of the Friedman Group, one of the things that's happened is a lot of discussions about where can we leverage each other's experience and technology and things like that. And so we, once we became part of the same organization, we started laying all our cards on the table as to what we had in development, what they had in development. And when they started telling us about this MEMS capsule development that they've spent millions of dollars on and many years already, we just lit up with the idea that, wow, we've never been a microphone company, and in some ways it's been something we've wanted to address. They are a microphone company. Rode has developed many models of microphones, and so the engineers started talking about the electronics and what could we do with this and what's the potential for self noise and all that kind of stuff. We've heard of MEMS capsules before, and they've never had low enough self noise to be employed in the way that we would want to use them. But once we started hearing about the noise figures, we were just excited, like, wow, we could have a high-end lav that's going to sound fantastic, and we can become a microphone company, essentially, a microphone brand that we're not known for that yet.
Yeah.
But now I think we will be.
Now you can have have a turnkey solution with Lectrosonics transmitters,
That's right.
lavs, cables, and you can literally buy it all.
Customers have been asking for years. We've been making waterproof transmitters since the 400, so that's 20 years plus. And they've always asked for, what's a good lav to go with this?
Right.
And we've had to recommend other things on the market. But this outperforms everything that we've ever seen. And it's more waterproof than anything we've ever seen.
Right.
So, it's an obvious bundle that we're probably going to have out there is order your DSSM and a lav mic. Maybe at a special price. We'll see.
Maybe at a special price. That is super cool. So this is not the only thing that you're debuting, though certainly this is a big thing. You also have a new IFB.
That's right, the IFBT2.0, which is right over here.
Let's wander on over. And by the way, I should mention, and I should have mentioned that's at the top of the show, but I was too busy mixing. If you have questions, leave them in the chat. We've already had Paul and Kyle leave some in there, but we can get them live over to Karl. So let us know, and thanks for watching. Okay, so the IFB 2.0, let's do it.
Sure enough. Well, again, we have a long history. Let me say this. This is a little bit more of what you would consider standard electrosonics development. It's an evolution of a long-held product line. The T1 and then the T4 have been out there. T4 has probably been on the market for over 20 years. And it's one of the standards for a base station transmitter for IFB purposes. And it's used on thousands of news stations, sports coverage, movie sets. It's standard.
Yep.
So what it's been lacking, though, is modern connectivity. So what I'm showing here here's the front panel, and now you can see it's got a modern color display, menu structure very similar to what you'd be used to if you've used an M2T or a DSQD, with your audio settings, radio settings, and so on. We have new buttons. These are not membrane switches. These are tactile switches under a cap. And we've got your channel visibility, but also you can turn on and off the carrier right from the front panel via a dedicated button. So this is designed to be really user-friendly. Then I have a back panel here right next to it showing the two antennas. It's a two-channel transmitter, two independent channels. We power it with DC external, which makes it possible to use it on a cart as well as in a studio. And we're using the Hiroshi 4-pin DC connector. You also see it's got Dante connectivity and an Ethernet port for your wireless designer hookup. So it's compatible with wireless designer as well. And then our two independent channel inputs give you analog mic level, line level, RTS, or ClearCom. This will block DC, so if you got a wet line, no problem at all. These are combo jacks. This will also accept AES digital inputs. So it's got it all. The idea is it could be hooked up with anything and provide your IFB feed. And in the menu here, we can see the, let's see here, level. Our RF level is menu selectable from 10 milliwatts, 25, 50, 100, or 250. Just right there selected in the menu. And this being a wideband transmitter, in other words, an A1 band, for instance, covering 75 meg, how do we get that much power with wideband transmission with
Right.
low intermods? And the answer is with a giant circulator isolator, a big passive part that's custom made for us. And there's 2 of them in here. And it's a one-way valve of RF that does not allow signals back in to generate intermods. So even when using it at the high power settings, this thing is going to be very friendly in a studio environment. So it's really designed to cover it all when it comes to IFB.
And that's a big deal because I remember, we're going back, 10 years for the SMWB and SMDWB, right? But there was quarter watt was not possible in wideband at that point. But this is, now it is.
Some of that has to do with size.
Right,
when your isolator is like 5 stacked quarters, right, which is what these look like, you're not going to be able to fit that inside a belt pack unit. So we can put them in here, and it's powered from the wall. So
And then what price and availability on this?
This is in FCC lab testing right now, and as soon as that clears, which we expect it to within about a month, so then we're ready to ship. We have units on the shelf ready to go. And pricing, I believe the MSRP is $4,200, something like that.
Got it. Okay. So this, and this is a great question that, Kyle asked, but is there any plans for a bag version, like a version that's, let's say, sawed in half, that could be a single channel transmitter and put in the bag?
I mean, the SMWB would be that.
Okay.
So we already have that. Every one of our hybrid digital hybrid transmitters can do IFB mode. Maybe it doesn't have all the connectivity here, but when you're talking about a bag, usually you're going to be feeding it from an analog feed. Anyway,
well, more what I mean is like the the T4 in the T4 form factor.
Right.
And I think that's what Kyle means, because certainly, like, I've used a T4 in a bag, and I actually am doing a job next week where I've got a T4 and 944 that I'm using in a bag. So anyway.
At the moment, it's not in the plan. Again, because we do have belt pack transmitters that can serve that purpose. But we'll see, one thing at a time.
People love their quarter watt, that's for sure.
I understood.
Yeah. So another question that came in from Jay Mendel, and forgive me, what I'm seeing are people's usernames. So if I'm not saying your name and I'm just saying whatever your handle is, apologies. This is a follow-up question about the Lavs. If you were to plug the Lav wired LEMO into another transmitter that's not the DSSM, what sensitivity would it be? So let's say the SSM.
Right. It's going to be the lower sensitivity mode. And so we'll have another version that is high sense only if you need that.
I see. So you can order it high sense or low sense.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
We're rolling these things out kind of one at a time as we get all the wiring figured out. And we'll have compatibility charts on the data sheet at some point showing you which models or which brands of wireless they can work with, and which model to order, all that kind of stuff. That's all coming.
And will so basically, for Gotham, right, we have a service department. We would potentially be able to buy a standard version pigtail and then use your wiring chart to wire it for however. You wouldn't
that's
get
the plan.
You wouldn't get the shiny molded connector.
Right.
But you would get whatever sensitivity you needed.
That's right.
Perfect. Okay. More questions. Anika wants to know what receivers pair with the IFB 2.0.
Great question. Thanks for asking that. So this is going to be compatible with any of the IFB receivers that we have made for the past 25 years. So that would be let's see, IFBR1, IFBR1A, and then the IFBR1B, this little guy, and then the IFBR1C. And I should mention, too, speaking of the R1C, this is the only one so far we've made that has infrared on it. And this has infrared.
Oh, so you can program
you can set up your preset list in Wireless Designer and load it into the units with the R1C from this unit. So in other words, it's the same IFB signal and the same sort of audio processing and everything that goes on that we've been using since the T1.
And I think the M2R has an analog receive mode.
It does. The M2RA.
Yeah,
well,
that's
the M2R and the M2RA both can receive IFB. So you're right. This one also. In fact, this one here is set up listening to this signal in IFB mode.
Got it. So you can literally use any pack with it.
Any one of our portable, listening or monitoring receivers can be used with it. Yeah.
Oh, and will this, and forgive me, I know that the T4 will do a lot of different compatibility modes. Will this also do like new hybrid and?
Yes, great question. It's really got 2 modes. It's got IFB mode and new hybrid mode. and as well as EU hybrid for the Europeans, which is the same. New hybrid and EU hybrid are actually the same mode.
Yeah. Got it. Okay, great. So more questions. Castillo Direct Sound Rental said at previous NABs, we saw the test of the transmitter system that had an antenna modified for transmission out of the water. I don't remember that, but...
yeah, it's a coax antenna that we brought it with us, and I made it. It's 4 feet long, and the idea was when we showed the DSSM being able to be dunked to under a meter, we needed to make sure that the RF could still get out so we could listen to it. So that was a coax antenna, and the tip was out of the water.
I see.
We didn't really make one for this show because it's not being dunked very deep, and it's still working. But if it was going to go any deeper, we want to do something like that.
But you can... Oh yeah, because it's got an SMA connector on it.
It's got an SMA, so you can put any type of coax antenna that you want, or any whip antenna that's got an SMA connector.
Got it. And is that the same? Do you need anything that's specially waterproof, or it's?
I mean, I made that one to be sealed, and it's not difficult to do. Essentially, that's a coax, you know, a SMA with a coax connector. I put some shrink tube on there and tried to make sure that it was sealed.
Yeah.
It was just sort of a custom one-off thing.
Got it. But it sounds like it's essentially the A coax antenna, that one that
it is exactly.
You can run
Those
out.
are like 3 feet long. The ACO AXTX I think is the model number.
And then the
and
block.
block specific. Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Perfect. All right. Let's see. So Castillo also wanted to know: is there going to be an app for the new IFB system? I assume it's compatible with.
It's Wireless Designer is the app. Yeah, absolutely. And so with version 2.1.11 and higher, in fact, it's connected right here. We can see it, and it would be part of this ecosystem. The channels of the IFBT2.0 would show up as red carriers, which is what we do with like the M2T. So any transmitter channels would be red, and receiver channels are going to be blue. So it's already part of that ecosystem with Wireless Designer.
Got it. Okay, super cool. Well, I think we got it. So we've got the L1, the S1, which honestly, Lavalier and Shotgun, those are fantastically simple names, and I love that. And then we've got the IFBT 2.0, and that's what you guys are showing. So
that's the new stuff.
Cool. That's great. Karl, thank you so much for being with us and kicking off NAB. Very exciting. Thank you all for watching and for your comments. We're going to be back in a few minutes with our next video. As always, if you're watching this later on, go to gothamsound.tv for more videos like this. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, all the things. Email us at info@gothamsound.com. Thanks so much. See you soon.
Thank you, Nick.
Thanks, Karl.